Wahe Khalsa, Wahe Fateh. My name is Gursikh, and as many of you know, I've been organizing a group to come to Yuba City and confront and question the Yogi Bhajan followers and the people from SikhNet who are teaching and running this Khalsa youth camp that's being taught here in Yuba City. Now yesterday, I was very surprised when the Sutter County Sheriff wrote me an email and asked me to call him. He said he'd been having some complaints from some local people, and he had been sent pictures of me shooting rifle matches and competing rifle shooting. Now, I called him back right away, talked to him, and he was very nice, talked for about an hour. And he saw nothing wrong with what I was doing. And in fact, he said that many times people exaggerate. Now, I don't know who called the sheriff. There is a Yogi Bhajan follower, a longtime Yogi Bhajan follower that I know here in Yuba City. Her name is Sri Pritamkar. And it may have been her, it may have been one of the local Gurdwara people. I'm not sure. But I want everybody to know that I only use weapons and firearms in self-defense. Even though I have a license to carry a handgun, and I carry a concealed handgun wherever I go, it doesn't mean that I am a violent person. I use these things for self-defense only, and 3HO knows this. Yogi Bhajan followers know this very well because they know my history. I've been a Sikh for almost 40 years, and I was with Yogi Bhajan's group for about 35 of those years. And during that time, I tried out for the Olympics in shooting. I tried to get in the U.S. Army as a Sikh. That was in 1982. So I have a strong record of working for Sikh issues and working for self-defense, basically. There's no history in my background of any kind of violence or any kind of misuse of weapons. I also want to relate to you my family history as well. My father was in the Marine Corps for 14 years. He fought at Pearl Harbor when the Japanese attacked there, and he was on the USS Nevada. It was the only battleship that was able to survive the attack because the crew, which my father was part of the crew, were able to get the battleship underway and block the harbor so no other attack vessels could get in. So my father was also at the invasion of Saipan, where he fought. He was in the second wave that came in there of the American soldiers. So he had a strong history of fighting for our country and fighting to defend our rights. Now, I want to make a couple points here about why Yogi Bhajan followers are trying to prevent me from going to the Khalsa Camp that they are promoting here in Yuba City. I think the biggest thing is they don't want tough questions to be asked at this camp about their tantric yoga practices. So I want to relate and talk to parents at this time, Sikh parents who may be bringing their children to this camp. And SikhNet and these people that come, they'll all look very good, wearing turbans and uncut hair, and talking about Gurbani. But don't let that mislead you. There's much more going on here than meets the eye. I read a quotation in Dr. Trilochan Singh's book, Sikhism and Tantric Yoga, which he talks extensively about Yogi Bhajan's un-Sikh-like activities. I have it on my website and also YouTube videos where I read the entire book. This was a real eye-opener for me. He says, and I think it's a very good quote, he talks about Yogi Bhajan being this yogi with holy robes just trying to fool people. And he says, well, you know, the devil can quote scriptures. But that doesn't mean that they're practicing the Sikh code of conduct and that they are doing the right thing. Now, this yoga, this Kundalini yoga, tantric yoga that the SikhNet people are teaching is very damaging, and it's against the Sikh head. And I'll show you why. First of all, the yoga, it comes from Hinduism and the Shiv Shakti worship. Every time you do these yoga exercises, there's a salutation to Shiva and Shakti. It may not be explicit, but it's definitely there. The Hindus say that yoga is Hinduism and Hinduism is yoga. And so you're giving the salutations of the Hindu god Shiva, and this involves all kinds of occult worship and the Shakti power worship that Yogi Bhajan was into all his life. And I can attest to this. I was with Yogi Bhajan, like I said before, for 30 years, and I know what went on there. He slept in the same room with his secretaries, his female secretaries, and so there was eventually a lawsuit brought by two of them. His lead secretary, the most influential and respected and revered person by Yogi Bhajan, this Prem Kakar, filed a lawsuit, and she accused him of, among other things, sodomy and raping her and other women in this 3HO group. So Yogi Bhajan had this history of this tantric sex yoga, and so he's teaching this to all of us. Now, I didn't know this at the time when I was in 3HO. So there was always the refrain that Yogi Bhajan was being slandered by other people and that we shouldn't listen to all this, that Yogi Bhajan had the answers. Now, I want to address that point that some people make is that, oh, Yogi Bhajan taught all these Sikh things as well. Well, it's true that Yogi Bhajan did some good. He at least talked about God to some regard, but there were many false teachings that he did. He walked around in these long robes. He never abided by the Sikh hat, never wore all 5 Ks. I saw him many times without a dastar or turban. I never saw him wear a kirpan. The kirpan is to be worn by Amritdhari Sikhs, and it's prescribed for Sikhs to wear as being sons and daughters of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, our father. So Yogi Bhajan violated the Sikh hat in many, many ways. He did astrology, he practiced this tantric yoga, and so I'd like to make Sikh parents who are coming to this event in Yuba City aware of all this. And I'm not trying to slander or put any kind of hate out for these 3HO people. I just want them to change. I feel like they are still under Yogi Bhajan's spell. In fact, Yogi Bhajan said, and I'll read here a few comments by this Amar Prakash Singh, who was in 3HO, but he left a number of years ago, and he's written also about some of the un-Sikh-like activities. He says that Yogi Bhajan taught that when he died, only his physical body would be gone. His soul would then reside in his subtle body, which would hover over his students while he still taught and led tantric. To his students, he would not be dead, but immortal. And this is the way these Yogi Bhajan people treat Yogi Bhajan. They treat him as a guru. I heard him many times, Yogi Bhajan, say that he was the guru. I can specifically remember at a Khalsa Council meeting that I was there, and he said he was raging mad about something that somebody had done that was part of the Khalsa Council. This is Yogi Bhajan's organization that had some kind of guidance or counseling for other 3HO Sikhs. And he was raging mad, and he said, "As far as you're concerned, I am the guru," he said. And he said this more than once to other people that I know who actually got out of the 3HO group. He said that he was the guru. So Yogi Bhajan, he defrauded all of us, basically. he put on these large gems and jewelry, which is completely against un-Sikh-like, completely un-Sikh-like, by using them for magical yogic powers and trying to convince people that he could read auras and that these gems would increase your auras. The un-Sikh-like activities go on and on. It just goes on and on. So I think it is really disturbing that Yogi Bhajan's people will not let a Gursikh like me come to one of their Khalsa youth camp events and speak about how Sikhs should really act. I intended to read some of the rahets that are written by Daya Singh, who was one of the original 5 Panchi Pyaris of Guru Gobind Singh and Daya Singh talks about how Sikhs should not do tantric yoga. We should shun these tantric yogis who are into all of this occult power and Shiv Shakti worship. So it's really ironic that the Yogi Bhajan followers, or whoever is running this camp, will not let me come and speak because I am wearing a concealed firearm and I have a license for it. I have a long history of practice and activity with firearms that shows that I'm only using it for self-defense, and they let anybody in who they don't know anything about to come there, and they could be carrying firearms in their backpack or even on their person, and they know nothing about those persons. With me, they know what I'm about, and that I am a good Gursikh. I've been one for 40 years, yet they won't allow me to come to that Gurdwara where they're having this Khalsa youth camp and speak. So I think the real agenda of them is to keep me away from there, to keep Gursikhs away from there, and not engage in any kind of meaningful discussion about these issues so that we can bring our Sikh brothers and sisters from 3HO back into the Khalsa Panth. Now I want to show for you some more of the un-Sikh-like activities that Yogi Bhajan was involved in, that I have personal experience with. The first thing here are these drawings. And these are drawings that Yogi Bhajan did in the 80s, late 80s, and I was there. He wanted me to sell these drawings. I had an art gallery at the time. So as you can see, they resemble Shiv Lingam, which is a group of Hindus who worship Shiva's penis, basically. And they're really not suitable for teaching youth, Sikh youth at all. But Yogi Bhajan insisted that I sell these and try to promote his tantric sex yoga with these drawings. And you can see here, there's just no question that it is just it's a large penis, for lack of a better word. Now he's written on this one, he says here, power. And so this Shiv Lingam, or phallic symbol that he's painted here, to me resembles a large penis, and he's talking about power with this sex energy thing. So and you can see here his initials right here. I'll get it up close to the camera. I apologize for my unsophistication with the camera equipment, but I just don't have the money like SikhNet has, the millions of dollars they have to produce this, a really sophisticated type of video, but I do my best that I can. Okay, so here's another one of these drawings that he gave me, that Yogi Bhajan gave me as well. Now, I want to show you the proof that these are Yogi Bhajan's drawings. This was a book that was published in the 1990s, and the 3HO people borrowed these drawings from me so that they could publish this book. And you can see here, I'll take it up to the camera close, so you can see it. This is the same drawing I just showed you there that's in the book, and then this is the book here, published by the 3HO organization. They call it The Game of Love. So then I'll show you some of these other drawings that are really phallic in nature and that are unsuitable, again, for the teaching of Sikh youth. This is another one of the drawings here. You can see the resemblance there to phallic or penises. Here's one that I've used on my videos. And again, this one here says that there is power in the sexual tantric energy. You can see it there.